when we're looking at the polls and how Americans view our president, Joe Biden, a minority, only 44% it seems, believe that the president is competent. So this isn't just Republicans now, this is a majority of people. It's a lot of independents. Do you think that these independents now have started to sour on Biden? And do you think this will carry on long enough to the midterms?
Well, to the first question, the answer is clearly yes. In fact, I saw a Quinnipiac poll yesterday that put him at 38%, which is the lowest it's ever been. And as we've talked about before, many of these are unforced errors, whether it was the debacle in Afghanistan, whether it was being indirect when it was going to be very obvious that people knew what was going on. And so, yes, I think that there are some real issues about the president's competence, and I think there are some issues about how on top of things he is. I think he has some skilled people around him, and I think a lot of what they're trying to do, certainly on a smaller scale, is justified. But yes, I do worry about that, and the midterms are obviously always a real challenge for the first term president. There's only been two times in the last 100 years, in 1934 and in 2002, when the president's party has gained seats in the first midterm election, and both of those were after a crisis. And I think that's one of the things, the most underrated thing that's hurt Biden was the Delta variant coming back, because everyone gave him such high marks on the way he'd handled the coronavirus, and now his approval ratings are way down on that. And I think that's the thing that of all the things that have changed, that's what's hurt him the most. Now, the good news is that, as we know, the American public has a very short memory, and if the economy continues to improve, if inflation proves to be only, I think, short-term, not a long-term problem, I know we don't agree on that, and if the pandemic is finally under control, which I think it's very close to being, then I think he can recover. But I do believe that right now, the House is going to be very challenging because of redistricting and just a lot of other factors. The Senate, the good news for the Democrats is that they only have to defend 14 seats, where the Republicans have to defend 22. And the only really challenging seats for the Democrats are Maggie Hassan, possibly, but also Mark Kelly and Raphael Warnock. So right now, I'd say the Republicans would take the House, and the Senate's a toss-up.